think it should be working now. So that's for YouTube. So hi YouTube. I think YouTube would only be the place to document my coding journey and not anything else, since I also plan on playing some games after this today. But welcome again to the project, and this time we are doing not Spring Boot, wrong tab, Angular, because we finished TypeScript, and surprisingly TypeScript wasn't that hard to understand, probably because of my background in TypeScript. And also reminds me, we should also probably start on Twitch. So when Twitch comes, hi Twitch. As for the Twitch part, we'll probably be playing PoE after this one. But anyway, going back to what I was just saying before, yes, we finished TypeScript. I mean, if you have a really good background with one programming language that uses type description, like for example C, any of the C's, ++, Sharp, and C, and also JavaScript, I think just understanding how type works would be easy. But if you have JavaScript as your background and you're going to TypeScript, it will be entirely a new thing. Or even Python, because I don't think you actually, let me check that. Do you specify the type of a variable in Python? Exactly. So if you have a Python background or a JavaScript background, maybe TypeScript would have been a new topic for you, but since I already have Java with me, so I guess kind of forced, because that's what universities teach. It wasn't that hard to get around, but actually I couldn't stream yesterday because of work, but after thinking about it, maybe I should do Angular while simultaneously doing my Spring Boot project, because I feel my skills get, the moment I stop coding is the moment I start forgetting stuff. So we will keep it like this. So we will do the project first, and then we will go for studying Angular after. So, and actually documenting everything that I miss or everything that I do wrong. I'm not sure if it will be that helpful, but we'll see. But I mean, that's my program brief, where I want to do certain stuff. So we will I think we left off last time by creating a user, creating a task. The user part, we said we will leave it for later. Now let's check what is the controller. So we did everything, API and tasks. Actually, let's check if the program will even run or not. Enable, because also this is the first time I'm using Longbook. Missing a return statement. Oh, okay. So this is the part where I forgot to throw an exception. I think I stopped yes at that part. Should I throw an exception when trying to create a task? Is there even a possibility of there being an error that the task wasn't created? I don't think so. Can we just not return this part? Nope. Return. Okay, can we run it now? I first need to check that everything is working just fine before we continue doing our mess. Yes. So let me check here. Not time, starting, everything seems to be fine. And then we have the create table. Everything seems to be fine. Okay, now to actually open. I think it was port 8080 HTTP. No, it wasn't S. A local host 8080 API. That's probably an old project that I did. Probably. What was the path called? I think it was called API slash tasks. API. Nope. What login is he talking about? Okay. HTTP. Local host 8080 API slash we have slash tasks and then the IDE. We'll just do it slash task for now. Still getting the sign in. Is it because I added the user authentication? Maybe. Probably then, because I added the package without actually going through that the context of the packages. Anyway, so we have the task from the body, and then we create the task using the create, and then the response entity will be the task. I forgot everything related to the response entity because it has been a while. Actually, let's check how I did it in the old project. I think even the old project I didn't handle the. Yes, I just posted it, and then for the use for the service, what did we do? Yes, if I made it here to throw an exception, because we don't want to have duplicate task, we should probably handle the exception here. But I forgot how we handle the exception. Let me check from the other controller that we did. So return string, everything is string. Okay, never mind. So we did the response entity return in the try, and the cache was response entity dot status, and then we throw the message. Yes. Now I always forget that part, so I would have to research every detail of that code. Explain to me this code. So of course we have the response entity, since our return value is response entity, so I know that part. Dot status method sets the HTTP status code. Yes, we want to return the status code. Then we have https.internal server error. There is an unknown constant in Spring which corresponds to the HTTP status code 500, indicating a server error. So this part literally means 500. Okay. First we need to throw this thing here. So So we say try, and then here catch exception. I think it was capital. And then what do we say? Response entity dot status. I think it's an anonymous, like I said, internal error. I think I'm missing something. Status HTTP status, then status, then HTTP status. Okay. HTTP status. We don't need anything else. Dot internal server error. Yes. So that part is clear. So that's how we get the response 500, and this one is for the 200. What else do we have here? And then I access the body. The body method sets the body of the response. This is the context will return the yeah. So in the error message, we want the body to be altered. So we say body, and we give the message and error has occurred. Then we say plus e dot get message. But this all should be in the return. Yes. Return. Okay, because this returns as string. That's what I mean. If we are creating a task, should I return a string or should I return? Okay, let's ask ChatGPT about that part. If I am making a to-do list and I am saving a task in the database, what should be included in the response request? Should I respond with the task back or just a message that says it was successful? A common and recommended approach to return the full stack task object, or at least with the database ID, any other important information. And it's useful for confirmation. Lets the client know the task was saved correctly. Consistency. And here he did okay, he did it here with the task, not with the ID. Add here's the safety. What will you do if the task was already there? We don't want duplicates, so we create error handling in the controller. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. There is no need for custom exception handling, at least for now. Yes, that's the part I'm searching for. And if it's yeah, that's what I was thinking. I cannot have the ID here because the ID is not yet created. The ID will be created after. So yes, okay, that's one thing. The other thing is you do the dot created HTTP status or the dot conflict. Global handler exception is stated, but you said the return here is of type task, but by doing this it's not. Okay, let's just give him Argon. What do you think of that code? Response status of the successful creation. You are currently using .ok for successful response, which is fine, but since you are creating a new resource, a task, the correct HTTP status should be 201, then 202 OK, which indicate that the request has successfully resulted in the creation of the resource. I always lump 201 and 200 together, so I didn't think that far ahead of it. But okay, I guess the error handling with exception catching the generic exception class is not ideal, because it can lead to catching unexpected exceptions that might be better handled elsewhere. It's better to catch a specific exception or create a custom exception for more granular error handling. Best approach: if you want to handle a specific exception like duplicate task, catch those exceptions specifically. For example, use task already existed exception. You can also create a global exception handler for handling exception manually. Is a very in every controller method. Yeah, that's my approach. This one, it's probably better with a bigger project, but since my project is relatively small, so yes, we will do it the global way. You are currently returning a plain string with an error message. Yes, that's the part where I'm confused. While this is functional, it will be more flexible and maintainable to return a structured JSON object. That includes a message and possibly an error code. Okay, and how do you do that? General code cleanliness. So we created the task here. HTTP status dot created, so that's to make it 201 instead of 200. I actually should research that part also about the difference between different status code. Where should I write that part? That's my to-do list. That's probably the best place to write what I learned. 201 versus 200, and I'll get to it later, but let's check the rest of the code first. And then he created a custom task called task already existed exception. I forget about that part for now. So the way that he returned the body, status, internal error, new error response, and then this. So what I was missing is the new error response. Okay, we make another brackets here, too many actually. New error response, and then you say the error and e.get message, and that's it. But we are still having an error here. Is abstract, implement the method. The error response, we need to actually override it. Okay, that's becoming way too much. Can you do it in a simpler way, since this is a very small project? It's the same basically. No custom exception for now. So yeah, that's what I was going to say. You leave the response as empty. Okay, so forget about that part, and that part. And now we literally can return anything. It's not my favorite way of handling it, but it should be good for now at least. So he actually check if the task is already existed. Example using the title. Does the task exist? I mean, that shouldn't be here in the controller. That should be in the service layer, not here. Create task. And then hit the service. Here is way too simple. Let me check what I did in the service layer. Should we even return the task? I don't think we should, but it should be even void because we don't really any return per se. But also another thing, no, actually let's just keep it the way it was before. But how do we make sure that the task wasn't already there before saving it? I think by using the title. So because we still don't have the ID yet, because we haven't inserted it into the database. So we need to get the title. Okay, but what would be return type? Actually, let's just do it the service way first. And let's just cut that part for now. So we say if task dot get title usually you will use the is present, but how do we check if the task already exists in the database or not? We check if the task is in the database or not. So wait, in your repository you find a method to check. So yes, that's okay. There is already a built-in method in the JPA repository for that, and it should bring boolean. What is the repository? Boolean task title exist. Not sure if I'm using the right exist by title. Okay, that's better. Exist by title. It gets string and we call it title. And we say that one, and we get the method. We need the user repository for that one. We need to probably create a variable for that string title, and we say it's the task dot get title, and then we say the user repository, not the user, the task repository dot exist by title, and then we add a string here. I think it was called title. Yes, title. And then if it does, we create we do this part. Else throw an exception. I forgot the proper way to actually throw it also. Where's the service layer? What type of exception? Throw new. We have runtime exception. Actually, Java exception. I probably should be creating a new one, but I want to check if there is no such thing that existed to begin with. Exception types, the one that we have. Probably I remember there being pictures for that. So check exception, uncheck it. Class not found, exception, interrupted, input output exception, SQL, file not found, illegal, null pointer, arithmetic exception. Could I just learn how to make my own exception? I probably should. If the task already exists and we want to make a custom exception for it, how do you go around it? So we say public class, and it's a runtime exception, is it? Public string message. What is considered a runtime exception? Is the type of exception unchecked means that it is not required to be explicitly declared in the method signature using throws, and a compiler does not enforce handling of these exceptions using try and catch. Unchecked. Unlike a checked exception, which the compiler forces you to handle, runtime is unchecked. This gives developer more flexibility because they are not required to handle it explicitly. Logic errors, null pointer. Is it considered throw a method attempts to use null? Nope. Arithmetic throws when arithmetic error, like dividing by 0. Maybe you could, yeah, just throw illegal argument exception, and we say the message. I forgot how to override it. And yes, you just specify the message. Task already existed. So that's how we do the servers. We did the controller. Everything seems to be working fine. I'm still not happy about that part, but we will see. Just make it work right now, and then we improve later. Then there is servers, and then the repository. Let me just write a comment here. Creating a task and checks for duplicates. Creating a task. Now I probably need to open the PSQL shell. We want to connect it to the database that we did. What was it? I already forget the command. I think it was the other one, yes. Test. And then, since everything should be working, select all from the table should be named tasks. Filler existir nicht. I should probably it's only task, not task. Never mind. It is working, but I'm not sure why the is completed is before the ID. Seems weird. You guys seeing what I'm seeing? I probably, since I saved the change, I should probably rerun this first. Okay. Method get title variable task of type dot on to do list cannot find the simple. What simple? Private task repository. Okay, just a spelling mistake in my mind. Where's the error again? It's something related to task.getTitle. Why is there an error? Cannot find simple. So we have to create task, and it takes the task from the body and the controller, and then we say task.getTitle. Cannot find simple title, line 17. It's here. and remove everything here and just say that task dot get title. Something wrong with the method dot get title. That will not be good because it's done in the repository using the old data. How about if I just wrote it? Generate, and let's just say getters and setters, and let's just pick all of them, and then yes, create. Let's just remove the old data for now. Now let's try to rerun. So it has something to do with the lombok. I'm not sure why, but I'll check about that later. I see a lot of errors. Hibernate is working just fine. Error starting application to display the condition evaluation. Rerun your application with the debug enabled. Okay. There's all of this. The key is created and everything is created fine. So where is the issue? Error creating bean with name task control define something with the controller. Why? So we have a problem with the controller with the task service here. Now let's go to the service. Okay, let's just debug this real quick. Encount is related to a method name mismatch in your task repository, specifically the error message. Steps to correct the issue. The method name in the task repository should be exists by title, not exists by. Okay, so it's the repository name. Okay, let's try to rerun that part. The repository thing will take a bit for me to get used to it because I'm still not familiar with. Okay, everything seems to be running fine. Still not familiar with how it is created. I'll probably need to dive deep into it, but for now I'll just do it the normal way. Now we want to actually make a post request, and where's the controller? I'm not sure why are we getting this part. Okay, it's okay, I can make it final, but unused import statement where? Okay, let's remove this and remove this. Class task controller is never used. Yeah, technically. constructor task controller is never used. Also yes, it's that should be fine. Method create task So everything is rogue within the class. Okay, I want to just rerun it because we just changed some stuff just to make sure. Okay, it seems to be working fine. Now what were the fields in my task that I needed to fill? We have these. So we get to the body, we make it raw, and we say it's JSON format, and I should probably name this creating a task, since we will probably reuse it a lot. The ID is completed, and that's why it's here. I should probably move it down here. Actually, will it actually change the... Okay, experimental. We actually make the is completed at the end and see how it will rechange it. Nope, still the same. Not sure why, but it's working fine for now. Now to the postman, to manually writing the thing. So what do we have here? We have Spring tag. Just say tag. And have to check for other post requests that we did before. So the name is written, everything in quotations. Okay. Let's just say the tag is study. The title is work on Angular. Okay, I need to write the title first. And we are forgetting a comma here. Studying Angular. Then we have the description. Okay, that's the wrong mark. As for the description, what do I do for the description? Study Angular every day. How do I make the default of is completed? Okay, that part also for later. Let's just focus on the main point right now. String description, and then we have is completed. And we say that's false. I think it still needs to be in quotations also. False. Post request looking good for now. Let's try actually seeing if it will work. Unauthorized. It seems to be because of the package, the security package that we had. Spring.gpa. Let's comment the security for now. we forgot that line also. Starter web, we need that. Postgres, we need that. Logbook test, security test. Yep, also another one with the security thing. Just comment it for now. I think that's it. Everything related to the security. Or we can actually check it from our other project that we did if it looks anything different to that. We still have the licensing and connection, so yes. Now to actually refresh and then restart. So it's created. Now let's try sending it again. Okay, I forgot to type the whole link, slash tasks, yes. That shouldn't happen. The user is not there to begin with. The public response entity. So something activated the throw here. So what we did here is we said if the exists by title. Actually, no, it's the opposite. If it's not, so if it exists, we throw an exception, so it's the else. If it doesn't exist, yeah, okay, we mix it. Now send again. Okay, let's check it here in the database. It's false. One, sorry, Angular. Okay. That's the first post request that we have. So I think we finished a huge part. Took around an hour, but that's for the coding part of the day. We have to still do studying and Angular for probably another hour. So where is my first? The user will only give the task and the description, the rest is auto-generated. No duplicates tasks. Actually, let me check. Should I provide everything and the rest should be auto-generated? I'm not sure how we'll do that part yet. I mean, for now, that should be good enough. That's finished and that's finished. Now, tomorrow we'll probably be doing the GET request. But that's enough for today, I guess. Now, finally, doing the Angular part of the day. I think we stopped at trying to install it. I also need to open my VS Code. And I think we had a specific folder for the project actually. Also, let's stop that thing here. We put Angular here. Or maybe I can just do it manually. cd. I'm pretty sure I downloaded the packages last time, but I guess we will have to redo it again.
I believe that TypeScript. What's up, guys? This is City. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video,
I'm pretty sure I did.
Angular course. People have been asking for that before we actually install and offer easier script. I'm gonna
I'm pretty sure I installed it.
now. What we need to do is
Okay, let's check. Node /v. Yes, it's installed.
install Angular. And once you have this globally is the Angular CLI, and it might not.
I also installed that.
Is we need to post this command because I'm actually following this tutorial.
Okay, yes, he was following the documentation. That one. So to install Angular. Yeah, okay, I guess I'll redo it again then, because I think I downloaded everything, but I didn't, so actually yes I did, but on a different project. I see. I didn't call it Angular, I called it my app, because I also remember him saying that it was called my app. Okay, okay, we need to change the directory that we have. Nope. My app. And then we cd to it. And then there was a command also for the installment. Or I should be able to make it like this. Maybe here. How about open? Where is my desktop? Usually this would have worked before, but how about yeah, I should have opened the folder with a file. Desktop, projects, my app. Okay, yes, now it's way better. Now to go back to the video.
Going through the docs, and
It's about the docs.
And I've actually encountered this before. If you're in PowerShell, you want to execute this right here. So go ahead and do that.
Not sure about that since it's not mentioned in the documentary.
And I'm actually, if you're already in a folder for another project, you probably want to exit out of it. But I'm going to ls here and cd, and I just have a folder for dummy projects and YouTube projects. I'm just going to cd into regular projects.
That's what I did. Yes, so it was my app, the one that I created.
Install pretty much just regular CSS off my data. And I said yes, just give Google stuff. B is just
GNG new my app, okay.
Alright, so what we want, just regular CS going through, take a break real quick and get some water.
Yes.
Okay, so
Now back to the architect.
a little bit of architecture. I promised you guys I was going to talk about architecture. Start off with modules. Modules are probably the biggest way to group code. If you were to create another module, you would do it for maybe like an admin or a dashboard or maybe some type of really big feature. And the biggest reason that we have modules, and there's like node modules, and those are totally different, but
Not sure what these are, but
Angular, you have modules when you would have maybe like a dashboard. So within our app, we would have, next to it, we would have a dashboard. And you can tell these modules by the app.ts module. The app.ts module is what's going to create these. And when you create your very own module of your own, what you're going to do is come in here and you're going to do a type of configuration to do it. But
You will lazy load everything.
Admin dashboard is a totally different feature from like the actual app dashboard. So what it's going to do is it's going to load them separately. So if the app is just loaded, it's not going to load the admin, and that saves up a lot of processing power and makes it so that your app is a lot faster. The
Okay,
other thing that you
components
have
is
in components
yeah, UI.
are similar to what components are in a React app. If you've ever
Yeah,
coded in React,
I did code in
it's
React a bit
basically like a breakable piece
of
of
our
an
site.
app and even smaller than a module, and it's only done so on the UI. So what would be a good example of the component? This right here would be
Yes,
a
all
div, but it's
component with
different
slightly
from
different configurations.
Angular. And then this is probably React, or maybe Angular, I don't know. And then this would be its own component, and a
Yes,
nav,
and you
like
keep on
I'll show you
reusing it.
I'll show you the Angular docs. A nav bar would be an Angular component. This would be an Angular component, and it makes it so that you can break apart your app and kind of tackle things one by one.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a one-way data flow, which we'll talk about in the next video after this one. Also, immutable state. That's a very big term that you're going to hear a lot in Angular. It's an
Mutable
example we'll talk
state.
about, but just really a brief overview. So, directives. Whenever you see an if statement, and maybe I can actually find one here in Angular nodes. I don't think that there actually is one in here right now, but directives are going to be pretty much ng if. So you'll see this, you'll see ng if, uh, ng if, and then you would have a closing tag, and if ng if is equal to true, then that's going to be a directive. And that's pretty much
If as a
the
statement,
gist of
basically
directives.
directive.
It's also a
Okay.
fuzzy model, and this is how you actually tap into the lower parts of the DOM. So normally, whenever you are controlling the DOM in JavaScript, you're going to have to worry about kind of doing low-level stuff, but Angular abstracts all of that away and makes it
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't have to interact with any of that stuff. Hence why people are starting to want to be more in Angular and React these days as opposed to just regular JavaScript. It's a lot easier.
I have seen the DOM, but
So
never
Python.
used it.
Python
No.
is going to allow you to do very simple things like turn a actual ISO date, like a very long string date that you would see in like maybe in a database somewhere, and let you turn it into like a really readable string like March 3rd, 2022. Services
Not sure what pipe
this
is.
is
What
going
did
to
it
be
see?
the most important part. Services are what are going to allow you to get data from an API. Services also follow a repository pattern, which is a big reason why people tend to love Angular and .NET and in Java. People love the service pattern. I'm a big fan of
Yes.
it, and it's really easy to
Actually, let me check if I understand what the service pattern actually is. What is the service pattern in Angular? Service patterns are common design pattern used to organize the application, business logic, and managing data. So yes, the controller service and the other layer, yes, they are called the service pattern. And classes are used to encapsulate logic that need to be shared across such data. Key aspect: encapsulation of business logic, singleton instances, dependency injection. Okay, I think I get it.
back and forth in between these two patterns where .NET or Java developers. Angular router, React router is totally separate in React, but in Angular it's already
Yes, I was
integrated
going
with
to say in React you have to install it with Next.js to have the routing function, but okay.
already part of the actual architecture. Super powerful, a great way to be able to control your web page and do authorization. It prevents people from going to web pages and have a lot of permissions on their web page, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So if you guys enjoyed this introduction, the next part will be
Yep,
make sure
very
to hit
ready.
that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and it's all good. What's up, guys? This is Steady. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video, we're going to be talking about string interpolation in Angular. And string interpolation
not sure what that is also.
Everywhere. In every single programming language, you're gonna have string interpolation, and it plays a very important part, and it's very simple. String
Mm-hmm.
interpolation is simply two brackets together, and then whatever you put your word in here. So I could put my name as a string because it's string interpolation. I could put a number in here. So if I wanted to do just 9, and essentially what's going to happen is it's just going to display it on the web page. It's very simple. And the reason that it plays as such an important part is because a lot of times you're just displaying strings on a web page, even if it's numbers, even if it's dates. A lot of times.
Actually, let's check if I get the meaning correctly also. My trusted assistant will say that to me. What does it mean? The process of embedding expression or variables directly into a string in a more readable, convenient way instead of concatenating strings and variables. JavaScript and TypeScript, name and then age, then greeting. Ah, it's that thing. Are evaluated and automatically inserted into the string. Always ask myself what is the $sign. Okay.
Here.
I know about it, but didn't know the meaning of it. No. Oh, sorry, the name for it.
Place that string interpolation is going to be pulled. I guess the word would be where it's going to start. Where is like the data actually coming from? Is going to be within properties here in TypeScript. And if you look here, what is happening is you are going to get an error. And this is kind of important because it's good to kind of understand, like maybe if you don't understand what TypeScript is, you need to get more watch time. I'm going to go ahead and explain like all of like
Okay.
all of this stuff means so that there's no stone unturned. So what is happening here is that it's the JavaScript or the TypeScript compiler is basically saying, hey, there's nothing initializing this. This is undefined.
Yes, you need to have let.
So if you don't actually assign it anything, and we could just come in here, you could just assign it Teddy, but what is more, I guess, official and maybe something that.
And he also wrote it in the source app.components.ts. Can you actually do it the TypeScript way? String. Can you also have it let at the same time? No. So if you specify the type of the variable, you don't need to assign it a const or let or anything.
You would want to think about maybe if you were in a job interview or you were in some type of setting, is that you would want to instantiate it in the constructor before any of this other data actually loads. So we'll just go here, go this, and then we'll assign title, and then we will assign it my name.
Actually, I also need to check on that. Can you create constructors in JavaScript? By just saying a constructor here.
So how do we actually get this on the web page? And what I've done over here is I've went over to app component.html.
Okay, that's the HTML part. HTML component, yes, this one. There seems to be already a lot of stuff, but that seems to be CSS. Okay, it's a style tag with all the CSS elements. Then we have the HTML under.
And I've split it in two so that we can see what's going on here better, and we can actually see both of them.
App.component, HTML. And we also have a CSS folder. Okay.
Exact same time.
check. We have add component. Okay, we empty everything here. Router outlet. Slash outlet. Okay, and then he just added the title, and it's double title. How do you run this as a live service? Add component selector after root, import template URL. So that's the HTML page that we are loading, and also the style one, and then export the component. And we have the imports for the files at the top. Okay.
What's going to happen is Node.js is going to do all this hard work for us and inject it into this HTML so that we can actually see it on the web page. So I'm just going to go ahead here. Let's go ahead and run it.
ngserve. Would you like? Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay, let's just get back now. I don't want to check on the updates. Press H, enter to show, and it's in the localhost 420. I thought I removed everything, but maybe it wasn't safe for us. I don't think autosave is safe. Yes, I still have to manually save it. I think I did the autosave on my other computer. ngserve again. Yes, okay. So that's how you add a plain text on the page, okay.
And this is actually the first time that I've run this app, and I'm not going to do the analytics,
I think I already have another. Now it should be working. He did have another program running on the port before this.
it's going to go ahead. The first time that Angular boots up, it takes a really long time, so forgive me if this takes a little bit. I'm going to get a drink of coffee.
Yes, probably need my coffee also.
So went ahead and compiled successfully. And let's see here. I gotta go ahead and put this thing up. And would you look at that? Teddy is being displayed right on the HTML. But let's take it a little bit. See maybe what other try and think of other ways that we could possibly also put HTML on the web page. So we go here, put the number.
But he did it in a constructor type of way. So okay, let's write constructor. Then we say he did add the string title string and then he inserted the title here. Equals to okay, no, he didn't insert it the same way that we use it. Okay.
And we'll assign this a 1. We could do it in the constructor,
don't think we have the same error. Okay, it runs live.
I'm gonna say descriptor is the ultimate fancy way to do it, but it
Mm,
really doesn't matter.
yeah, you could have wrote it
Long
like
as
simply.
reference just coding, so we can just go ahead up here and go ahead and assign this up. So go here, then let's go and let's go here, number 2, and let's see it go ahead and load.
Okay. Funny way to add some stuff to it, but will it actually add 2 or just 1? So we have number 1, say number, we say might as well just assign a value to it. And let's just copy the same here. There is a way to change multiple numbers at the same time, but I forgot how to do it. Then we say here number 1 plus number 2. Let's see how it would show the answer. I want to do it with myself before actually seeing it here. So yes, it will do logical operations also, and on the same line.
What it's going to do is it's going to load it, it's going to load everything before the HTML, so this is going to get loaded first, then it's going to put it on the HTML web page, and that's the whole entire idea behind string interpolation. But let's do a toggle. Let's do a toggle. This is fundamental building block of web application, having a nice little toggle. We'll say toggle Pokemon, have a boolean, and we'll assign it to false. Go over here. We'll have a toggle Pokemon.
Okay, let's also try that. Toggle, let me say it's boolean, it's equal to false. And then we also try to do it here. Toggle. After let's try to check that, get an error. Okay. So we cannot display true false value. You cannot display it in itself, but the results of it. And that thing, I think we used it a lot. It's true. Then we have here is false. Still okay. Should be the same. At the end of the expression, something seems to be wrong here. First, let me have it in double quotation first. So it can also perform logical operations, but it can't do it for some reason. So the single quotation was the mistake.
Look over here, we've got Teddy, we've got 3, we've got is not Pokemon, and then if we go over
So you can even perform logical operations with it.
The entire idea behind string interpolation. Really not that complicated. Next, we're going to move on to more complex forms of data binding and talk about all the other fancy things that go with it. Anyway, hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for watching. What's up, guys?
So before diving into it, I need to bring something to it because I have 29 videos. I plan on finishing at least 10 today. Oh, the ninth one is very long. Okay, give me a second.
Welcome to my YouTube.
back.
This video, we are going to be talking
Need some
about
volume.
property binding, one of the most common, almost concepts in Angular. We're going to see a ton of property binding, and it's absolutely crucial to number one, understand like visually what's going on. A lot of times when people get confused with property binding, they just don't know like where things are going. Like a lot of times in programming, I think you just need to know where things are going. And in this case, I have like a mock. Like just pretend we're in VS Code right now. This is whiteboard VS Code. Just use your imagination. Here,
I will
over
do.
here is the class. This is where our code behind. A lot of people call it code behind. A lot of people just call it the TypeScript. This is the HTML. And what is happening is just like the string interpolation, Angular is doing magic that's going to insert this into the quotes. Just remember, whenever you see quotes and whenever you're looking for, you're trying to establish some type of relationship, or you're just trying to understand what's going on, image source property in the TypeScript is going over to the quotes and injecting it into the quotes. And the same thing with the title. Our string of basket of baby beavers is going into the title and is going to be shown within these H1 tags right here. So our basket of baby beaver string will be injected and will show on the page as an H1 tag. What really confuses people is number one, like why can't we just use string interpolation? And you could definitely, there's nothing wrong with string interpolation. As you can see, we are definitely just utilizing strings. There's nothing stopping us from using string interpolation. But the reason that we use property binding is that number one, you're going to be bind, like these are actual HTML properties. You would think.
So you're basically creating custom properties to insert to your code, instead of just printing it. I guess that's more dynamic also.
That the brackets are going to make it so that they're not or something, but these are actually properties, and what's going to happen is that TypeScript is going to check to make sure that this inner HTML actually exists on the JavaScript data structure. And I don't know exactly how it works, and I'm not like
It just does.
that much of a Angular guru to understand like what's going on, but these brackets are almost like a form of type checking, and that may be confusing to you. So I'm going to ask you, this will paint the picture very clear for you.
Okay.
If I were to put src into the H1, like just imagine I wipe this out and I put src in here, and then I did the same exact thing for the image. Like what if I like erase this and I put inner HTML in this right here? What would happen? What's going to happen is you're going to get an error because...
Well, again, we have the title and then string, then we have the image. Inner HTML is probably a native property to the H1, while the source here, wait, the source here is also native, but the source here is only for image tags, not the H1 tags, so you will definitely get an error.
Source does not exist on an H1 property.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
Exactly why property binding actually works.
So you're binding it to specific tag, okay?
So it's going to bind this, and then it's going to actually come over here. It's going to check for the inner HTML, and if it exists, it's going to paint it onto the actual HTML as the true lettering. So essentially, it's going to inject this. It's going to do a check, and if it's correct, what it's going to do is it's going to blow off these brackets, and it's going to paint it onto the actual web page as. So in this case, it would be image source. Like I said, blows off the brackets, and then it's going to inject.
Yeah, the bracket seems weird.
HTTP string in here so that our actual image will show, and that's the whole entire idea of it. And we're just going to go over here, and we're going to actually practice on our
Coding time.
So first thing, once again, basket of baby beavers. We're going to actually show like a real basket of baby beavers.
Gee, let me try doing it alone. let's get rid of this here. So we had two tags. One was an h1 tag. I think it was this bracket here. It's hidden. I think it was hidden HTML or something. Inner HTML. Okay. Not sure what that property is, but we'll see. Inner HTML. And then you have a source tag for the picture. Oh, sorry, image and the property is source. Image. I'm not sure why the auto completion is not working again. Image. Okay, it's not the entire one, just img. It has been years since I last did anything in. And yes, it's a tag that doesn't require a closing one. And then you say the property is src. And then we actually say it here. We say what say title string, and we just say I'm not sure, beaver. And for the image source we say so image source also from string, and let's type http for example dot for example, and then you add here the image. Sorry, the title will be here. Then you have to add the image source, and it has to be in quotation, and this quotation isn't necessary because they are string, but just because they are properties. Actually, how about we add a real photo in here? And just photos. How about Angular logo PG? Open a new tab. How about that one? Maybe we'll have this as the image. Actually, I think I have a local one. Maybe I can do it locally, but I want to check if it actually gets a real URL. Still says here an error. Okay, let's check what Teddy dog.
So cute, and we need to have an H1 for this, and we need to be able to show this. So basket of baby beavers. Then we go down here. Then we're going to go to image source. Then we're going to, once again, because this is TypeScript, we need to have our actual string here for the type checking. Then I'm going to go in here and actually have a HTML tag of baby beavers. And I'll show you what I'm going to be putting on. Oh my gosh, look at that. Is that so cute? There's literally nothing that can get more cute than that. Just a little.
So yeah, we put a URL for an image.
Okay. So now let's go over to our HTML and let's go ahead. It's going to be the same exact thing as was in our example. We're going to be injecting our basket of baby beavers
as a property.
So just imagine, like this is code going into these quotes. This string is going to be injected into here. It's going to show, then it's going to show this actual image. We're going to have literally the coolest app in the whole entire world. So we're going to go in here. Let's go ahead and we have to re-render it. And if you look,
I'm not sure how to re-render it, but let me check. Still an error. How to re-render in Angular. I don't think he understood what I mean. Has to be probably a shortcut or something.
string is going to be injected into here. It's going to show, then it's going to show this actual image. We're going to have literally the coolest app in the whole entire world. So we're going to go in here. Let's go ahead and we have to re-render it. And
it's a shortcut which I'm not sure of. Right, copilot, no. Re-render. A component here should be saved, and here it should be saved also. New, save, share, preference, close, exit, edit, replace, cut. How about if I just rerun it? Okay, so yes, it did. So that's how you can create custom properties for your HTML. I mean, unlike React, where you write everything inside the HTML tag itself, I think that's a bit neater.
if you look, wait a second, I need to check.
I think that's probably why React is only used for smaller projects, because if you wrote everything inside the HTML tag, at some point when you have too many tags, it will be too much to handle and regulate. So Angular is probably why it was chosen.
Hold on one second. I actually pasted the real URL, not the actual HTML URL. So I need to go in here. If you want the actual basket of baby beavers, go in here and go to that website.
Get the PNG from the URL.
And then go get the picture, because that's where it's from Cornell. All these really insanely PhD smart people are studying baskets of baby beavers, which I think is awesome. No hate. So here, I wish I had that job. So I'm gonna go, trying to find my app. I'm gonna go, and would you look at that? We've got our title, so just so that everybody knows what exactly this is, we can.
Actually, let's zoom out of it a bit. Yeah, that's a bit. It was way too zoomed in.
Add some visually stunning baby beavers in a basket. Look at their little eyes. Look at that one down there. He's just chilling. That one's like the king. Look at their little tail too. Their tails look like Louis Vuitton bags.
That's the way to
Anyway,
put it.
Hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to hit that like. What's
I
up,
guess
guys?
I did.
This is Steady. Welcome to
So
my
let me
YouTube channel.
check
This video,
what we had so far. Interpolation, which basically prints a string in the HTML page, and then the property binding, where you create a property in TypeScript and then adding that property to the HTML tag. Okay.
I'm going to be talking about two-way binding in Angular. And two-way binding, you're going to be seeing two-way binding a lot, because two-way binding is one of the fundamentals of building forms in Angular. And it's kind of one of those weird things that people don't really mention a lot, is that a lot of web development is building forms, and building
Yes,
really
unfortunately.
robust, complex forms with all types of crazy validation is where Angular really excels. So make sure to pay attention to this video if you want to be a form building god. Okay, I'm getting a little carried away here, but okay, so an example of when you've probably seen a form of two-way binding. Like, let's just say you want to edit your social media profile, and you go to your social media profile, and somehow your name, your username, like my username would be like Teddy, has already been populated, and it gives you the ability, like let's just say if I just wanted to be Ted, I could just go like that. I could hit the edit button, and this data would be sent up, and it would
Yeah,
also
automatically be edited and received back.
congruent
Yes.
with that, what's actually in the database. This is two-way binding. There's two.
Isn't that the same way the life function works? Any life change will also be received at the same
two-way
time.
communication going on, and in Angular they went with this symbol that a lot of people call a banana box. Does it look like a banana in a box?
I'm not sure about
I
that
don't
part.
really
No.
think so, but many people think it does, and it's kind of a funny word, so I think people just kind of roll with it. But so if you look at that, you may be able to establish like a correlation. Like, this looks like two things that we've seen before. It looks like property binding. This is property binding. This
Yeah,
is
the normal
going
one.
to be the down arrow. This is what's going to populate the data.
Yeah, property binding is the one that we just did, and this one is property binding. Yes, and the one from before was just two curly braces, so that's something else.
Already, whenever I'm feeling
The
out,
round
that's
brackets
what's
I'm not sure
application.
about. No.
And then when I hit the submit button, this is going the events and the parentheses.
Yes, good mention. I think these were specific in React for mentioning specific events and triggering them.
Is going to be what sends
Okay.
the data up, and that's why they call it two-way binding, a banana box, and that's kind of why they gave it this symbol right here. So let's just kind of go a little bit deeper. I know, like, people who software developers, they like to know how things are working underneath the hood. So
Because it makes
first, we
using
kinda
them a
already
bit
talked
more
about that.
tolerable.
It sets a property in your code behind on the page, and it also listens for DOM elements to change. And I'll just move we'll talk about ng model here in a second, but let's just kind of go into our imaginary VS code and talk about.
So you have a favorite animal, and then you add that favorite animal as a string here, and then okay, ng model. I'm not sure what that part is.
What's going on. So first thing is in imaginary VS code,
Like
going to
always.
set the property. So whenever we navigated to imaginary social media, it's going to go ahead, it's going to go over here, and it's going to set the data into favorite animals. This is the set action. Then it's going to listen for DOM element changes, and this is where the ng model comes in. So if you click this, if you click a button, or actually not if you click a button, but essentially each time that you backspace, what's going to happen is something called an element change, a DOM element change is going to be triggered. And you may have seen this like in event handlers, and maybe you are already familiar with vanilla JavaScript. I hope so. But if you're not, it's literally just a JavaScript thing that happens whenever you go back or forward, and what's going to happen is it's going to send up an event to our favorite animal and update this on the fly. So if I changed, if I deleted the E, it's going to also delete it over here. So imaginary input box. So if I went over here, I had turtle as my favorite animal, and I deleted the E, it's also going to delete the E over there as well too. And once again, not incredibly complicated. The only other thing that you're going to have to, I guess you don't have to, is you have to understand what ng model is. ng model is another aspect of Angular that the docs don't really tell you exactly what's happening, but what's essentially happening.
Actually, before I forgot, I should probably also be creating docs for this one and just call it Angular. Angular. Then let's list the things that we studied so far. So we studied these. What they do is print whatever your variable is. Then what did we also study? Okay, I was on the same thing. Property binding. Yes. The other type of brackets that we also did. So you have this one. And what this does is creates custom properties in TypeScript and then add them to the HTML element. Okay, so far so good.
Is that as soon as this page is instantiated, what happens is the ng model is instantiated as well, and ng model is going to go over here and do all of the binding and provide things like validate underneath the hood. I mean, you don't see this going on for right now. Just really realize that ng model is going to just boom, it's going to go off whenever the page executes, and then ng model is what's going to do the binding. It's called the binding. And it's going to essentially do all of the hooking up. There's other more advanced types of ng model, but just realize ng model is going to hook up the model in your code behind. This is essentially, you know, like what a model is. If you've ever coded in C#, if you've ever coded in Java, essentially a model is a
class.
A model would be like an animal, and maybe that's something we could talk about in a later date. But for right now, we kind of got to move on and get going so that we can, you know, move on to other things, because explaining like what a model is kind of will get not really important right now. So let's just go ahead over here, and we're going
Great.
to make two-way communication to describe our favorite animal. So we're gonna
Okay, I think I know the code, but I'm not sure how the result will be. So let's just say that we have a beaver here. And then we have it here, but instead of having title, we will have these brackets first, then you have the curly ones, and then you add title. We are missing something.
We're gonna go over here, favorite animal. Example one other thing, just to kind of
okay, it's like I thought, it's not on all tags. It's not available on all tags, just certain tags.
Binding examples. One other thing, just to kind of reiterate,
it's an input tag.
Model only works on inputs.
Yeah,
and
I was just going to say
of that type.
ng models, text areas, and inputs, which makes sense because these are the only two things that are editable.
Radio buttons. There's probably a more specific list, but just remember, ng model only works on inputs. It does not work on anything else. So we're gonna go.
Okay, yeah, explains it. So I guess we'll make our h2 here. Two-way ng model, or what did he actually call it? Two-way binding. Two-way binding. Example. I don't think I can add a ng model. Then we add the input. And the input is also a self-close tag. And then what? We say ng model. And we say it's equal to, and then we add the title. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure.
And then we're going to go into our ng model. And another thing that you want to...
I misspelled it. I forgot the D.
do is you want to go over here. Remember to include your forms module, and I already actually included it already for mine. And sometimes it will automatically do it for you, but a lot of cases
Okay.
already include. Remember to include your forms module, and I already actually include.
So in which app.component? We need to import. So it's not a built-in functionality. You have to import
already for mine, and sometimes it will automatically do it for you, but a lot of cases it
form
won't.
model.
So like a forms module, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to bring in this forms module, Angular form.
Okay, it's capital, I think. Yes, forms. Yes. And he added in the one that we just did from at Angular. Okay, it's in a string. Not necessarily comment, but it's forms.
Module.com, and you may be wondering, well, it's not used. It will automatically go into our ng model. And another thing that you want to do,
yes, and the other one is capital.
Is you want to go over here. Remember to include your forms module, and I already actually
imports, and we should add forms model in the model folder. What is the model? So we app.configure.
Remember to include
app.model.ts. Configure index.html servers. What is the model one? I can't find it for some reason. It's inside the app.
Forms module, and I already actually included it already for mine. And so
I don't have the app.module for some reason.
Sometimes it will automatically do it for you, but a lot of cases it won't. So we're gonna go forms module, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to bring in this forms module, Angular forms module.com. And you may be wondering, well, it's not using it anywhere. It is in the code behind, otherwise it won't be able, otherwise you won't be able to see it. And also remember to bring in this, so go to your app.module.t.
App.module. I don't have an app.module for some reason.
Yes, and bring in the forms module over here.
Maybe it's here in a JSON instead of app.config. I'm not sure.
Here too. So very, very, very important, because if you don't do that, it will not work because it's in the forms module. So we're gonna, and it will give you this squiggly line like the whole time and be really annoying. So we're gonna go over here, and then we're gonna go favorite animal, and that's going to be a I think I spelled favorite animal wrong. Go over here, and I'm going to, yeah, I spelled favorite animal wrong. Okay, then we're gonna go over into our actual, and also you could
maybe
just do
because
that,
the
but
video is
another
old
important
Angular,
thing
maybe
is that
it
we
did some
want to
update.
have some curly brackets so that we can see this actually happening in real time. So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna have our favorite animal, and if you look over here, well, my favorite animal is turtle, but let's just say I want to purposely misspell turtle for some reason, and I delete it like that. What will happen is, like I said, it's two-way communication. If we were to do this in a server, it would, it's going to be sending it up to the server, and each time we backspace, a element is changing, it triggers, and then once again,
It's not working, and I think because I'm running away advanced version of Angular than the one he's using. This will cause some issues because the video is 2 years. Let me check if there is Angular courses that are a bit more new. 7 years, definitely not. 17 hours. How we ask about ChatGPT about it? Angular forms. What was it called again? Forms module import. To import appropriate module based on the type. Importing the module, template driven. Forms module from add. Yeah, we did that part. Once forms model is imported, you can use the ng model directive to bind data. app.component.ts. Even though I'm pretty sure I wrote it correctly, let's just double check. Template driven, this is the forum, this is the app.ts. Importing the reactive form for reactive forms. The model is imported for some reason. If you, as per reason, incorrect import path. Example for reactive forms. I'm not sure about what the reactive one is. Model import is in the right place. That you are importing forms model in app model or feature model app.module.ts. I don't have a model file. It's likely that you are working with a project structure where the model is generated automatically by Angular CLI and be easy to overlook. In Angular, every Angular app must have at least one module, typically the root module, app module, by default. I don't think we have app model.ts. Nope. If there is no app model, if you cannot find it, there is a possibility you are working on a very small project where the model is not explicitly declared. You have accidentally deleted the module file. I don't think any. If you don't have a model file, you can create one manually by following the steps. Actually, how did this app model look like? Not sure about creating it. Every time I do create something manually, it ends up being bad. Okay. So I'll just copy it and make sure the imports are from here at the ng model. Yeah, sure. app.model.ts, and it's probably inside the app here. app.module.ts. Declaration, app component, and cannot be declared in ng. You meant to import it instead. Okay, it seems we are missing something here also. Which folder is that? It shows me an error with the app component. I wish I could just take this, copy it, yes. But you're using a standalone component in your Angular application in Bootstrap array. This approach is past Angular. How to fix it? You should not use it in ng model Bootstrap. Instead, use the function from the okay. Main.ts. This app component. And where is this? Remove the bootstrap array from app model ts. What is my app component? And it still seems to be not working. Maybe because I haven't saved it yet. Probably look for a more updated tutorial for this, or just read the documentation. I did import it normally, but still it's not working for some reason. Type does not exist on the app component. App component.ts. Nope, no idea how. And this is for still the app component. Still not sure what the mistake is, and I don't think it's even a mistake. Can I even find it here? What was the topic called again? Two-way binding. And there is no search button. Okay, there is. with from controllers, two-way binding with form controllers. Okay, he did import it here. Import the forms model from the add angular forms. Use the ng model two-way binding. Assign the state that you want. Input and then so yes, we do have that here. It's still not working. Two-way binding between components. Nope. No, my brain is too fried for this. Imports for model. I think we need to include that part also. Cite the component. Interesting. So at the component here we already had the selector, template URL. Okay. But then the servlet will not be working.
Remember to include, just remember on
root outlet. He makes it work without having it here. Does not exist on the type component. What do you mean? Yeah, okay, it's double T. So I fixed that part, but now we have another error. Not a non-element. What is the root? This is a rectify angular. Import router model as a standalone component. Currently I have two outlets, so how about if I just change the name of the variable then? Nope, still the same issue, so never mind. How can I have two import for the router and one for the forums module? Cannot import multiple modules by specifying them in the import at the component. You simply list all the modules you need. Okay, how that? Aha, I see. It just imports and then you add. We fixed it. For some reason someone is still not happy with it. How about we have also like headed?
it does included it. Oh, you're at the form animal, but that we can see.
Okay, it was in a P. And then we used what we just learned here, and then we added the title. Not sure still how to reload a server. Yes, so anything you add here, that's the two-way import. Now the main take from this ng model, you need to import it first, and it only works on input tags. And also one thing, what is ng model to begin with? Makes any change on your text live. But that's how I view it, at least. Okay, just importing the thing took this much time. Yeah, I think that's enough for the Angular part. We already have been stuck in this part for almost 20 minutes. And we still have more to go. Let me check also here. It's not going the same way as the instructions here in the documentation goes. I think yes, I will still read the documentation, but after I actually get at least a bit more familiar with some of the concepts in it first. The documentation doesn't seem to be that big also. It's well structured, so yeah, we'll see. I think that that will be it. Already did more than enough. I did plan on maybe doing some PoE after this one, but I don't think I can. Probably too much headache after the last error that we had. Or maybe I can, but I'll probably have to say goodbye to YouTube at least. So YouTube, these are for you. Goodbye for now, and tomorrow you'll see the rest of the not the Postgres, the Angular part. Ciao. Now, as for the Twitch.